let's talk about it because we get some news from the Hollywood Reporter. Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business. So it looks like they're taking advantage of this time that they've had to, like, I guess, wait there since they're not doing anything. And they're gonna kind of, it looks like from what I read, scrap everything they have so far on Daredevil and take it kind of in a different direction.
Yeah.
From what I read, it was a legal procedural, and
Yeah.
and then I had even read rumors that in the first episode that Foggy and Karen die. It was a rumor, but that was going to be why he leaves the Daredevil suit, goes to court to do the whole lawyer thing, and I'm like, who the fuck wants to watch that? But I mean, after you have that Netflix series, the bar is so high for what we expect, especially from Disney now. Like it's all you, it's all in your lap.
Yeah,
and they seem to have just scrapped everything and are going to start over. And I've seen some people just say this is a Kevin Feige move because he realizes that didn't work, and he would rather do it right than try to force something that, might be okay. But he obviously saw something was wrong. And they're going to and they even fired all the writers too. Like they're just going to get a whole new writer's room and start over. So I'm blown away. I mean, you're telling Born Again in a different way. I don't know if maybe they're just stealing that title the same way they stole Secret Invasion.
Right.
It's going to be a whole new different direction. I hope that they bring back Foggy and Karen.
I do too. Although what's uncertain is because again, currently the only actors we know returning are Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio, right? So are they going to bring like one reasoning I guess I could see for if the rumor was true, them killing Karen and Foggy in the first one is maybe they just didn't want to bring back those actors, right? So you write them out as central as they are to that story.
But like, who is Daredevil without Foggy?
I know.
Right. And if I could play Kevin Feige for like a little bit, I would be like, they should adapt, especially since they've already introduced him as kind of a bit of a lighthearted in She-Hulk.
Yep.
I would jump into the Mark Waid run. Where he's like, out because in that series he's out in San Francisco, and I think She-Hulk's in California. So and then you can separate. Like Foggy and Karen are back in New York. If you want to bring him back, we can do it. It also kind of plays into that lightheartedness from the She-Hulk, and then in season 2 or 3 you can wallop us with Born Again, because then you can have them.
But see,
what that is.
But see, that's the takeaway. So that was just the one news article I found, but this was all over my news feed, is just Marvel's Disney Plus TV, just that whole effort seems to be in total disarray right now. Like for me, the takeaway from that article was it's not just that Born Again is being reset. It's that Marvel and Disney are kind of looking at all the stuff they've done so far and are pivoting. And what worries me is I feel like the majority of the stuff they've done so far has been enormously successful. It's been interesting. It's been unique. It's been these, like limited run series. And now they're kind of pivoting to, we want series that can go on for 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. And I'm like, so you're pivoting to just traditional television when, like think of all WandaVision is incredible, right? Enormously experimental, still taps into the extended MCU. Like it does all this stuff. And yet you're going to have some, when you're operating that way, you're going to have some stuff that won't work as well. Right. Right. But I think there have been more successes than failures. I mean, look at Horror by Night. I mean, like such an amazing experimental thing to do. Now they're just like, nah, we just need a new Marvel version of the Frasier reboot. Like that's what it sounds like they're doing. So,
I feel like
cut you off.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
feel like they stole the Born Again title, like to say, in the sense that like, oh, this exists. He's going to be coming to Disney. If we use that title, we don't necessarily have to use the story, but all the comic fans that know the story are like, oh, we're getting Born Again.
We're getting born again. Yeah, exactly.
Because the same way with Spider-Man, we got Homecoming, but there is no Homecoming story. It was just kind of a play on the fact that Spider-Man was returning from Sony to Marvel in a way.
I think you're seeing a couple of things come to a head. One, I feel like the Marvel movie method kind of mirrored the old Marvel comics, the Marvel method, which is they give a here's the idea, director, go run with it.
Right.
You have to hit these notes, and then you bring back our first copy, and then Stanley, Kevin Feige's going to kind of tweak it a little bit, and then we'll push it out.
That I never thought of it that way, but that makes total sense. Like that's fascinating. Sorry, go on.
And I think it's fine. Well, one, I think that's kind of caught up with them, just like it did in the comics. I also think that a lot of what those articles were talking about was once they launched Disney Plus, there was this edict to just push a bunch of product out. And now streaming services are realizing there's no way they can earn money from just subscriptions. So I think they want to push old school television back out because they are trying to recreate television. They want stuff that they can license out for seasons at a time,
right.
like to Freevee or whatever. So I think that's why they're kind of like, let's stop with let's go back to doing some traditional television stuff so that we can, make money on eventually licensing it out to other places and whatnot.
Yeah,
I remember there was a run of Daredevil written by a Hollywood screenwriter. I'm trying to remember who it was that did.
Kevin Smith?
Huh? No. Oh my God. Bob Gale. I think it was Bob Gale.
Oh, from Back to the Future?
Yeah, he wrote Daredevil as a lawyer procedural. Not good. Not good at all. Like, I don't know why if you go to the comics and find that run, it may be a good read now, but I remember this going, where's Daredevil? Like, I don't want to see Matt in the courtroom constantly. And he may defend Stiltman. Oh, there's a great tie-in. But if you're in a courtroom, Jesus, I mean, with all the other stuff going on in the world, we're just going to see courtroom feeds all the time. Nobody wants to see this shit.
Well, I mean, all right, but counterpoint, they played into that with She-Hulk, and I thought it worked really well. I think it's less about setting and more about tone, right?
You didn't have the precedence of having 3 seasons at Netflix
with
some of the best stunt work and fights you've ever seen. And if you take that away, I mean, you kind of have to keep going with that.
Another counterpoint, I'll never stop watching Law and Order SVU. So
like 98% of the world.
I hate to break it, but I don't think Marvel's going to get like 50 seasons of Daredevil, SVU or Daredevil, in the courtroom.
Can you imagine if Daredevil only focused on special victims? That'd be a really fucking dark book.
But it is, I guess, counterpoint, going back to your point, Clay, if that proved to be true, they were going to do Born Again and do it as like a courtroom procedural kind of thing. That feels very 80s and 90s Marvel, right? Like, we're going to bring this to the screen. We're not going to do anything comic accurate because we can't afford it, So, we're going to have Thor in the Hulk movie. He's going to be dressed like a bad Viking from Magic Time Machine, like it just, I don't know. It's all very weird. I'm just a little worried that, because for me, the Disney Plus Marvel stuff so far has been so wonderfully weird, right? And not dumbing itself down to an audience and playing with these tropes and these ideas. And I'm just worried they're just going to chuck all that and go to something standard.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pivot us right there. Because,
and
we can keep talking about this. There's also a lot of uncertainty
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll revisit once we get an update. But first, studios maybe pay the actors what they want and what they deserve,
Mm-hmm.
so we can all get back to work.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I'm also not working just because I'm in solidarity.
Same here.
I haven't taught class in 5 months.
God,
I may not be hired anymore.
Josh just sits there in the middle of the classroom. Tell me what your favorite movie is before the actors. Yeah.